Look at this absolute cookamamie. I've never shown my home in this state before. In 3 years that I've been on YouTube or whatever it is, I've never shown my home like this. I just got back from a trip last night. It was a wedding in Mexico. For Molly, you guys saw Molly in one of my past videos. She got married. And I packed for that trip in 20 minutes. I packed to catch a flight to Mexico in 20 minutes and I left this apartment in an absolute wreck. And I have been itching to get this home back in order. I would like to clean it up. We're gonna do some cozy chores today. It's gonna be so freaking cute. We're also gonna dive into some spicy personal topics of whatever you guys wrote in about. How about that? A little bit of goss, a little bit of hot goss. Dating, my relationship, eating disorder, girl, having doubts in a relationship, feeling lost, where I wanna live. That's a good question. It's gonna be cozy. It's gonna be therapy. Hello and welcome to Cozy Chores. Let's do our chores together. Chore chats, just like doing everyday stuff, cozy chores, and chat and hang out and like goss, you know what I mean? I just want to relax. I just want to relax, she says, screaming. I just want to relax. Welcome back to Cozy Chores. This is where we do cozy chores together. I know a lot of people who watch my YouTube channel do chores while they watch the videos. So I was like, let's crank this body doubling up a notch, okay? I'm doing chores with you. And I have really bad cramps right now. I also feel like every time I make a video, I have my period. It feels like that. Does it feel like that to you guys? Because I feel like every time I make a video, I have my period. I think I'm just not calling out the times when I don't have my period. And maybe that's how I should start introing videos, is whether or not I have my period. It feels like it's forever. Here we go. Clean your house with me, come on. All right, let's get this going. One of the first questions somebody wrote, how to spend a day at home and enjoy being with oneself and enjoy one's home. Sometimes I can't read that good. Rule number one is treats. I love treats. I'm always eating treats. Ooh, baby. I'm buying these by like the trillion. Yasso bars. If you like a sweet treat, I like mint chocolate chip. Really, really good. Black raspberry chip. Shockingly flavorful. They're like Greek yogurt bars. I also need to hydrate. I don't hydrate that much. Ugh. Everything is so gross in this apartment. I'm like mad about it. Like I've ever lived like this for more than like an hour. Come walk with me. Oh, it smells bad in here too. It's a freaking mess. I really do like to romance myself. I like to lock the doors. I don't like to be interrupted. I turn my phone off. I'm not here to be exporting answers and texts to people. I'm here to hang out in my home. Get yourself a treat, light some candles. I love blasting a podcast. I'm not gonna do that while I'm recording, okay? Remember, mama loves you. These are the sacrifices I will make. As far as cleaning up, what I like to start with when it's actually a mess is just like, do the easy lift. I'm not gonna start putting things in drawers. I'm gonna just start grouping them to where they need to be. Like, why are these boxes here? Put bedroom things in the bedroom. You know, I'm just gonna move things right now. It's gonna look instantly more sane and it's gonna motivate me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna feel good. This is hard to do with a popsicle, I'm realizing. I do feel like some of learning to spend time from yourself, like you get really good at it when you've been really lonely. I think that's how you learn to be good at time alone, is you've spent a lot of time feeling really lonely and you like I finally gave up on external factors to be the thing that entertained me. Once I'd like fully given up on that being a reliable thing, I started kind of making do on my own. I think the attitude that feels true is like, once you stop waiting for like external, like divine intervention to come and entertain you or for other people to show up a certain way, and you kind of like, I had to take ownership of like, this is my day. It's my day in my life. And like, if I want it to be fun, I'm gonna make it fun. It's gonna have to be me. And so in that way, I feel like being really lonely or being really bored and really lonely is like the best boot camp. It's like an awesome opportunity to start figuring out what you really like. I feel like I'm pretty good at like making other people's days good. You know, if my friend is having a bad day, I know how to like throw in a cute treat or like a fun walk or like, let's go by this store. And then at a certain point I realized like, oh, I should just do that for myself. If I wake up in a bad mood or I have like a day I'm not looking forward to and I'm just like alone in the home all day and it's just work, then I will kind of like turn to myself the same way I would turn to my friend, and I'll just be like, what could I inject into this day that would make it like a little more enjoyable, a little more tolerable, and then you just start doing those things. But for some reason, I don't easily ask myself that. Why is there a wine glass down here? I gotta start focusing. I don't even know what's in this box. Ooh, I ordered a new coffee table book. I was really excited about this. Ha ha ha. Walk With Me Hamptons. I think it's like old homes from the Hamptons. I'm kind of a preppy old so I'm really excited about the coffee table book. I also put together a collection of favorite coffee table books. Ooh, I'm excited about that. That's gonna be cute, let me tell you that. Oh, I'll link the collection. It's linked. All right, look at this. I'm doing a good job. Look who's doing a good job. It's me. The bathroom. This goes in the kitchen. Kitchen. This goes in the bathroom. Kitchen. BRB. Now, I'm no freaking plant person, but this plant was given to me by Alejandra, who's a subscriber I did a no-buy makeover for recently. She gave me this plant as a parting gift. It's a pepper plant, and look what freaking emerged. Oh my God, that is a pepper. Look at that. And this one's still green. Are you kidding me? I have never been so thrilled in my life. It is so thrilling. I think that's what's great about plants. Like, I do understand this part. I feel like, even though I don't really keep plants very much, is that like it is physical, concrete evidence of the way life changes. And mostly in life, my dad would always say that like life changes slowly and imperceptibly. Shut up, I'm talking and it's deep. Life changes slowly and imperceptibly. It's almost impossible to notice the changes in life when they're happening. You know, that relationship, that dynamic, that work problem, that mental health struggle, whatever. It's like, it feels like it'll never change, but things always change. And the changes are just so tiny and so minute that it's hard to notice it until you're in another phase. And I feel like that's what's so fun about a plant. And no, I'm not gonna get into plants, so don't get excited. But I do really think it's fun. You can just look over and one day you're like, that pepper wasn't yellow yesterday. Come on. I think it's like a concrete form of hope and like the change of life. Okay. So all my flowers were dead when I went on vacation. And one really, really sweet thing that Justin does, he knows how much I love flowers. And every time I come back from being away, he sends me flowers every single time so that I have fresh flowers in the house. Come on, dude. What the hell? I got a lot of questions about my relationship. I never know how to talk about it because sometimes when I've talked about my relationship on here, people get like annoyed. So I don't really know how to win. But I'll answer some questions. How has a good relationship changed you? I like that question. It's a great question, and I do think being in a good relationship has changed me. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. You know, we're all affected by the things we encounter. You know, if somebody in their adult life only knows relationships that hurt them or keep them down, or maybe even are abusive or unkind or impatient or whatever, you see that in the person. You see that in how they're limited. Like, you see that. And I never really thought about like how like just like loving the crap out of someone could affect them. But I feel like that's what's happened to me. I don't know if that sounds like annoying to say. I want it to be hopeful to say. I think I've done like so much work on myself. That's something I'm really interested in and prioritize. But there were like a lot of things that I think I did need like someone to love me really hard in like that intimate, vulnerable way that you have in a relationship. And I feel like I have been changed by someone like loving the shit out of me. And it was really important to me, like pretty early on in my relationship with Justin, to just like tell him everything. I guess it came in waves, but all like those levels of your secrets that you think you can never tell anyone. The shameful things, the unlovable things, I think I always had this idea that he only loved me because I'd kept those things from him. Like because I'd really well hidden like all the ugliest parts. And my therapist kept saying to me like, you know, I don't think I believed my husband really loved me until he saw all the ugliest parts of me. And that did really resonate. And so at a certain point I was just like, okay, I'm going to give you all my confessions. I'm going to tell you all the things that I don't want to tell you. And he's like accepted me every step of the way, and not without bumps and not without like having to pause and consider things. I think we've both had to do that with each other. I think that's what happens in a relationship. You like take in new information, and I think the amazing thing is just being like, yep, sounds like you're a whole person. Okay. I still want to work at this. Yeah. That's a crazy feeling. I've never felt that. I've never felt that kind of safety ever, ever, ever. I don't know what that does to a person. I assume it has to do something to you. I feel less angry. I think I became kind of less angry just from like being loved hard. Do you know what I mean? Not because I wasn't single anymore, but just because like, yeah, I think like you see what happens to a dog if the dog is like, you know, left out in the rain or like kicked or yelled at or something. You know, that dog might become like aggressive or skittish or snappy or whatever. And you see what happens sometimes when that dog is like relentlessly loved over time. Sometimes you can like love that dog. I'm the dog. Takes time, but if you can like relentlessly love that dog, sometimes things change. I don't know. I kind of feel like that's what's happening. My point is that I'm a dog. I do feel maybe a bit less impatient, a bit less angry probably. And I think it probably comes through in my content in ways that some people might not like. Like I got some other comment that was like, I miss the like unhinged way your vlogs used to be. And I get that. Like I do actually think about that. And I think there's a lot of things that changed. Like I just have continued to exist as a person since like the Street Man videos. The change there was not just finding a relationship, but like I changed. We're all changing. You're not the person you were 3 years ago. I do think that's a hard thing with YouTube. You know, unlike a TV show, I'm not gonna stay a character that people fell in love with. I can't stay that way. Like we all keep changing. And I do think about it. The person I'm becoming, that might not do it for people anymore. I could understand why a calmer version of me might not do it for people anymore. I would get that. I don't think I'm completely calmer, but also what am I gonna do? I'm not going to pretend to be a way that I'm not. I'm just gonna, I don't know. I don't think there's much for me to do about it. I like hope that I'll continue to find an audience on YouTube. Like I kind of feel like there has to be some degree of circulation of who it connects with your content at one time. I don't know if it's so different as in life. Your relationships kind of ebb and flow. The people you're close to for certain periods change. You can come in and out of people's lives, in and out of like closeness. And I think the times I've gotten myself into trouble were times when I really resisted those ebbs and flows. So I've learned to just like kind of allow them, kind of accept them. And I think the most misery and unhappiness comes from the gripping of like trying to hold on to the way things once were. But like they've already changed because life changes. Remember the pepper plant? Remember that? So I try not to grip anymore. And I think something that feels fun to me is just being like, well, I don't know what's going to happen now that things have changed. I don't know. And that's like the adventure part of life to me. I don't know. I'm just going to like keep doing stuff and see what happens. I like these. If you're you're new to the channel, all of these vases were made by my brother. You can buy these, they're 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗚 vases for arranging flowers in this kind of modern way. I'll link his Etsy shop in the description. Okay, someone else came in with a spicy question. Someone said, do you still struggle with eating disorder thoughts or behaviors sometimes, or do you consider yourself fully recovered? Yeah, that's a great question. I really paused and think about it. I really tried to think about it. I definitely don't have eating disorder behaviors. I know that. I'm very, very firm about, like, I don't act on anything. I would say the most unwell part of me is that I definitely can't say that, like, I love gaining weight. Look how crooked. Yeah, I definitely can't stand here and tell you that I, like, feel no stress if I gain weight, but I won't act on it. I just won't. And once you've engaged in any kind of disordered eating, binging, starving, fasting, punishing, whatever, you just learn that the reactive behavior only continues the cycle. It only continues it. I don't care how much weight you lose in 1 month or what changes you see short term, it only continues the cycle. I think once you do that long enough, you realize that every reactive behavior, every freak out, every sick behavior you can do only elongates like the sick cycle. So I just don't act on it anymore. But I would probably fluctuate within like up or down 5 pounds all the time. Not in a yo-yoing way, but I think that's pretty standard. But when I gain that weight, no, I'm not gonna stand here and tell you that I'm like totally enlightened about it. And I'm like, I just love myself regardless. No, I barely love myself at all. But I just refuse to act on it. Like I refuse to crash diet or like, anorexically exercise or something like that. I can't think of what the word is, but I think I just learned to like tell myself, you know, okay, you don't feel great. Like, okay, you're allowed to not feel great about something. That's okay. And you are going to survive feeling uncomfortable and not loving every second of how you feel in your body. Like, that's okay. You can survive that. Like, it's okay to be uncomfortable. What's not okay is to do something reactive. By not doing something reactive and punitive or extreme, I actually just like meet and maintain my goals much easier. Yeah, so I'm really not tempted by that anymore. Maybe eventually I'll become like completely detached from what my body looks like at all. But why am I peering around the pole like this? But until that day happens, I feel pretty good about having like healthy and balanced ways to make me feel better. One subscriber actually wrote into the podcast because we did a whole body image episode on the podcast and asked people to write in with their best body image advice. And somebody wrote in and was like, once I noticed how frequently my opinion of my body fluctuates and that my opinion of my body fluctuates more often than my body even fluctuates, she was like, then I learned to just kind of like not take that judgment too seriously. But I thought it was so brilliant. Like that feeling of like one day you wake up and you feel great and one day you wake up and you feel terrible. Like the next day, it's like, well, nothing changed that much day to day. So like the feeling isn't based in much. There's not that much substance to that feeling if it's one day and then the next, you know what I mean? And I thought that was great. And just kind of like a little bit of acceptance, the radical acceptance of like, my feelings about my body are gonna fluctuate a lot more than my body's gonna fluctuate. And so like, I don't actually have to listen to that criticism that much. Like I don't have to put that much stake in it. Okay, maybe you feel a little negative. Okay, maybe you're like not loving it right now. That's okay. You can like feel a little negative. You don't have to do something about it. You don't have to change. You don't have to freak out. You don't have to abuse yourself. Like, that's fine. You can just like feel a little negative right now. It's not that big a deal. You're going to feel different again. It's chill, you know? Everything's chill now. Look at this absolute 𝗟𝗡𝗞𝗦. Okay. I actually don't even know where to start. I swear to God, it's not usually this bad. This is just packing for this trip. I used to be so bad at packing. I'm actually not good at packing now. I've started packing a lot less, but I've gone on like 4 trips where I didn't have like anything that I needed. I think I've just really focused on packing less and packing fast. But now that I say it out loud, that's not packing better. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Enjoying this. Somebody asked a question, how did you manage to not give up on dating after meeting so many people who weren't right for you? I felt like the number one thing I had to realize, and I say this to friends all the time who are frustrated by dating, and they're like, there's nobody out there. And it's like, oh my God, there's toothpaste all over my foot. I know I'm not supposed to show you my feet for free, but there's toothpaste all over my foot. I forgot. I got bug bites and then I put toothpaste on them in the middle of the night because I didn't have to afterbite. Minty toothpaste is really good for bug bites. It'll kill the itch. Okay, nobody asked that question, but that's pretty important. I think first I had to remind myself that like it's really rare to meet even friends that you connect with. I think for most people, you have to work hard at finding even friendship. And so like, yes, finding a romantic partner will also feel hard, but that doesn't mean that you're even necessarily doing it wrong or that you're not lovable or that you can't find it. It's just like the fact that it's hard is so expected. I think truly just reminding myself that like it's hard to even make friends. So like, yeah, it's gonna be hard. That's not like a reflection of how you're doing. And then I also took a lot of breaks from dating. Anytime I noticed myself getting jaded or impatient or fed up and like bent out of shape about dating and what's wrong with these guys? Anytime I felt that bubbling up, I would take a break from dating. I would fully get off the apps, cool down, because I feel like if I was going into a date jaded, it wasn't gonna go well. So I'm a really big fan of taking breaks, personally. I think that's the way to sustain it. To me, that felt actually so much more constructive, to go in with the right energy when I had like the capacity for it. I think I also started, even in like the periods where I wasn't meeting, I hadn't met that person, I made sure to like notice and take pride in my ability to get better at saying no to the wrong people. I'm getting faster at it, and getting faster at learning sooner what does not work for you, and not trying to delude myself into making my square self fit a round hole. What's the peg, hole, whatever the metaphor is. Yeah, just being like, this doesn't work for me. I believe myself now, like building that faith that you are actually discerning correctly for yourself. Yeah, so while I wasn't meeting the right person yet, I could still feel proud that I was doing the process constructively. Meeting the right person depends on being patient enough and courageous enough to say no to all the wrong people. Because it does take courage to just like be like, nope, that's not gonna fucking work. Nope, I would rather be alone. I think it takes courage and it takes patience, and that's something that you can take pride in. In the meantime, before you have like, your big prize at the end, this relationship, and then I'll feel proud of myself. No, you can be doing dating well long before you meet that person. I think that's actually like a super imperative part of it. I can be doing dating well by not letting the wrong people waste my time and getting a little ruthless with it, honestly.
If at some point and there was like visitation, it's all kind of blurry how it all happened, and then he found out I wasn't his kid, and then he was back out again for a while.
I also got so many questions about having anxious attachment and being anxious in a relationship, growing out of anxious attachment to secure attachment. I've also talked a lot in the podcast about how I have like, a very anxious attachment style. And I really struggled with that to the point of being like paranoid, to the point where while dating Justin, I was so paranoid and insecure and full of fear and doubt that it actually was going to destroy our relationship. Like I was going to obliterate it for both of us. I do want to make a whole video about this. I've been taking notes, preparing my notes for this video for months. I don't know if it's ready quite yet, but I'm really excited about it because I think growing through that has been the hardest thing I've ever done. Well, someone asked about how I eat healthy. Someone really submitted this question. How do I eat healthy? And the honest answer is that I don't really prioritize grocery shopping or cooking. If you watch this channel, you know, just like I'm not a chef. Sorry if that's what you want me to be, but I'm just like not interested in it. And I feel like I'm making stuff all day long. And, you know, I'm making YouTube videos, I'm filming, I'm editing, I'm making a podcast, I'm collaborating with my brother on his vases, you know, putting together subscriber room makeovers and coordinating with the carpenter and trying to keep in touch with my very large mentally ill family. I mean, amazing family, trying to be a friend and a girlfriend and a human being at the same time. And I just like, I don't know why, I never feel like making a meal. Like I never do. Some people want that for me, but I don't. But I also like to try and eat healthy. I do HelloFresh on and off. My new hack with that is that I like to ship the HelloFresh boxes to like my Airbnb or somewhere I'm staying when I'm traveling, so that like you can still eat out, but you can also have home cooked meals that are fresh without having to do a bunch of grocery shopping. Hack. I also recently tried HelloFresh's child company, Factor, which they're like ready to eat, fresh meals. They're never frozen. And I'll do like 4 of those a week. I'll do like 2 lunches and 2 dinners. And that's nice because I don't like eating frozen stuff. I just have a hang up about that. But also I can't just be eating salads and toast every day. Also a lot of peanut butter. By letting Justin into my life in an intimate way, he has discovered that peanut butter is disproportionately represented in my diet just because it's like there. It's just there and it fills me up and it's easy and it won't go bad. So I'm always trying to cut down on the peanut butter and eat more like real nutrients. Yeah, I just started trying Factor recently, asked them to be a sponsor. They said yes, so good for me. Trapped another one. Factor is nice because I will do them for like 2 meals, but they also have like breakfast, snacks, smoothies, stuff like that. I like to mix it in as like maybe like 4 of my meals in the week. It's flexible. You can change your meals anytime. You can pause for a week if you don't need it. It's very flexible. And then they also have like gourmet dishes. You can do like steak, shrimp. You can get fancy. And they're all dietitian approved meals that are ready to eat in 2 minutes. To me, that feels like a good balance when I know I'm busy and I'm just like not gonna take up a cooking hobby. And I also want to keep off the peanut butter. If you feel like it would work well for you and you want to try it, go to factor75.com or click the link I'll put in this video and use code 50CarolineWinkler. You can get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's 50CarolineWinkler at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Someone asked, do you see yourself staying in DC long term? Is there another city or state or country you'd like to live in while you're young? Short answer, yeah, I do see myself staying in DC long term. Mostly because, I mean, DC actually suits me really well. I was surprised to learn, like when I got out of my long-term relationship, I moved to home just as a default because my family was here and I like didn't really know where else I was gonna go at the time. And then moving back here as an adult, I was like pretty shocked to learn how well it suits me. It's a good balance of things for me. I don't know if it's like the best city for me. Like maybe, I do think all the time, like maybe there's some like city in Peru where the culture and the logistics of the city and the values just like are so perfectly suited to me. And I don't know, there's probably a place out there better for me than DC, but I also think that's kind of a fallacy because the place that makes or breaks any city is the community you have there. All of my family is here. Justin is also happy in DC. I have a good social network here. Like that's not a small thing. I would say that's like 90% of the thing. And then other things about like, is it cultural? Is it walkable? Like, yes, those things matter, but they matter a lot more for like visiting a place than living there. Personally, I think you can go and have like the best visit ever, and I feel like a personal connection with the city, and you're like, I gotta move here. And then I see people move there and they're like, oh wait, we don't know anyone here and it's really hard to build a community. Like, yeah, it is hard. It's doable, but it's hard. And I think having finally found myself in a place where like I do have a community set up here, no, I don't think I'm gonna leave. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay, dude. I think I'm gonna freaking stay. Whoa, guess what? My house is so clean. I cleaned it really good. I cleaned it really good for you and for me. Oh, God, it feels so much better in here. I'm freaking delighted. It took a lot longer to do while filming, I'll tell you that. But I still enjoyed it because I took my time and I didn't make it stressful and I made it an event for myself. Whether it means like turning off your phone and like not being at the beck and call of everybody who's always asking things of you on your phone, or whether it means setting your kids up with a craft in the other room. Maybe it means locking your children out of the house. My mom did that to me. You can do that. Sometimes people do that. I'm not here to give parenting advice, but it's been done. Or sometimes, you know, you don't have the luxury of a big chunk of time to do the like, make it a nice, cozy, luxurious event. Sometimes I do cleaning as my work breaks. If I have a really busy work day, like every 30 minutes, and do like 5-10 minutes of tidying because it makes me feel good. I'm doing something physical. I get a break from the screen and I just feel extra productive and stuff. Like I like doing it that way too. Anyway, if you guys like cozy chores, I'm going to keep making them because I kind of love doing this. It was fun to do. I hope it was fun for you guys too. You can always leave comments about like, what should I talk about, topics, or what cozy chore content you want to see. Like, does anyone want to see me do a bunch of laundry? I don't. Maybe if you're sick in the head, it's boring to watch. I thought about taking you out to the dumpster with me. I have to take out my trash. But the other day, Justin went out to the dumpster and a rat jumped out of the dumpster and hit him in the chest and then in his arm. And then he didn't tell me this for a couple hours because he knew I would not want to touch him. And then he told me and I was very upset. And I said, I'm sorry for your experience. Are you familiar with where the shower is? Please acquaint yourself with it. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much what this video is about. And if you liked it, then good for me. Bye. Why didn't